Welcome to Venture in the South. These are the stories of innovation and success in the southern U.S. that make money, have fun, and do good.
Welcome back to Venture in the South, podcast about angel investing in the southeastern United States. On this week's episode, we're following up on last week's episode and inviting Josh Rollins back to the show. He's joined this week with me and with Matt Dunbar, who's my colleague at Venture South, and we are talking about Vicinity Ventures. Josh, I'll start with you. I'll throw you straight in there. Can you tell us what Vicinity Ventures is all about?
Certainly happy to be back on and talking about Vicinity Ventures. So the idea behind Vicinity Ventures is to create the premier platform for local alternative investing. So I believe that with what we've been able to do through Vicinity and what you all have been able to do through Venture South over the years made sense perfectly for the two niches that we were focusing on and getting good at, to be able to combine forces and to provide something that was more holistic in nature to investors, as well as to those that are looking to raise capital, the companies, the issuers. So the big reveal was that we have decided to officially join forces as Vicinity Ventures to build that together and to offer those tools and solutions to both of the bases that we've built and beyond, particularly in the Southeast.
Okay, great. For those listeners who didn't listen to last week's episode yet, can you just give us a quick intro to Vicinity and Josh, just a little bit about the history of the Vicinity side of the equation?
Sure. My background has been in finance and technology for a while. I'll skip most of that just to jump into that being the foundation for our thinking around Vicinity, as we were looking at really trends in local markets, particularly secondary and tertiary markets. So a place like Greenville, we talked, I think last time about Chattanooga. This week, I got to go to Charleston, or this last week. So these are some markets that I think have immense opportunity for different investing networks and growth beyond just more of the global cities and markets that have been the hubs for a long time. So that trend in what I'll call a new localism met a trend in decentralized finance that John and I in particular thought was very interesting. And so we were looking into what is the future of investing in these types of markets, or local investing. And that led us down the rabbit hole of the changes that were going on in the SEC back in 2016 and 17 to open up the door for the regulatory side to support that. With those three things combining to create the opportunity, we jumped in to start the local investing platform, and it was grown out of Greenville, South Carolina. And now we're happy to see it go even further than that over this year and the next couple of years.
Okay, great. Thanks, Josh. And presumably listeners know a little bit about what Venture South is at this point. Otherwise, we've done a pretty bad job over the last 150 episodes. But Matt, maybe you could just give people the quick intro to Venture South and what we've been doing over the course of the last 15 years.
So it's feeling more and more like ancient history when we talk about the South. The time has flown by. Of course, we got started back in 2008 with a local angel investor group in Greenville, South Carolina. And as we got our legs under us and figured out our model, of course, the great financial crisis came along just after we started, which bought us the time to figure that out because we didn't already have a portfolio. But it also opened up some new opportunities for us to think about how we could scale our model, because after the financial crisis, so many people in so many markets around the region looking for ways to bring capital to the table to support entrepreneurs who they knew would create jobs with their startups. So that was an important economic driver across the country, but in our region in particular. And so that started to give us the idea that we could scale our model successfully in other markets. Of course, Paul, you and Charlie joined me around 2013 to really start helping us scale up that model. And that's what ultimately became Venture South once we changed the name in 2016. Since that time, we've been working with hundreds of investors across the Southeast to identify and evaluate and support the strongest early stage tech startups we can find in the region. We back them, of course, with our capital as well as the expertise of our network, who can jump in and lend a hand in various ways over time as companies work through their growth cycle. So that building that portfolio of early stage companies in the Southeast has been a great opportunity for us, continuing to focus on that at Venture South. But as we got to know Josh and the team at Vicinity, we started to become intrigued with the idea of pairing that venture portfolio, which of course has a relatively long time of liquidity, is a broader portfolio of other types of deals that can not only potentially generate more cash flow in the near term to complement the venture portfolio, but also give us ways to be even more deeply embedded in local markets we're already serving across the Southeast.
Okay, got it. So Josh, back to you then. You described the partnership as the platform for local alternative investing. So can you describe a bit more about what that means, who the users are, who the companies are, and what the mission of that platform would be?
Sure. I think, well, I'll start with the mission. I believe that this is shared among all of us on the call and beyond, that there's an opportunity to and a need to think a little bit differently about how investing has been done over the last, call it, couple decades. And there's some immense growth and opportunity in ways that we want to be able to address. So I think the mission is very intentionally focused on finding and facilitating local opportunities that really get at the heart of what's going on locally. So not just thinking about how do we create the startup platform or ecosystem alone, but looking at what is driving the economic activity and variables in places like Greenville and the Southeast. So at root, just being very intentional about serving those types of companies where they are at and offering the opportunities for those that inherently know what's going on locally to participate in those. So certainly you want to be able to evaluate investments on the normal criteria, the best practices that have been formed and shaped, but to also really enjoy the fact that where you live and the reputations of the people that you're investing in and the brands that they're building, those things you have an inherent advantage of when you're local. So we see that and we want to be able to serve that. So how that works with users, the breadth of users on our platform is pretty massive. We have 5 generations covered on the platform of users that are on there. So we've had a lot of different people that are offering incredibly unique skills and insights and experience sets, and many younger generations that are looking to dip their toes in and start to explore these opportunities, and they can do so where they're comfortable investing. So the range of investments is also just as broad, and we have people that are writing very significant, serious checks, and those that are writing to them serious checks as they start to explore getting into the alternative space for even a couple $1,000s. So both accredited and non-accredited investors, they're able to see a variety of deals that some are public, some are private. So that differentiates who might see what on the platform. I think we'll dive into that a little bit more soon, but I'll leave it there for now. And then on the company side, we have issuers that are operating businesses. We have real estate deals, lower and mid-market real estate deals, and also the opportunity for startups, especially with the partnership with Venture South. So all of these are able to come into the pipeline and be vetted and evaluated by a strong team that has experience in all of these unique assets. They all are a little bit different. You have some foundational components that we want to look at. I like to call it just people, plan, and pro forma, the 3 Ps there. You want to be able to see who's the team and are they capable? Do they have a good, compelling plan? And are they able to present it well? And then can they support that and how they see the numbers working out and how they at least envision that plan being executed so that they have something that they're shooting for. So those are basics. But beyond that, there's a lot of nuance and differences in the types of deals. So having experience in not only the team here, but also in the investor base as they're evaluating a deal, whether it's public or private, they can bring those skills to bear and help others in their community out that could join in and help it to grow.
Okay, got it. So for existing Vicinity users who are familiar with the platform, what does the partnership with Venture South bring to them?
Yeah, it really brings them, I think, the opportunities to get involved in some of the private deals they otherwise wouldn't see. So that is an opt-in option. That's a premium offering where you can join the Venture South existing base and see some of those deals and become part of that plan, as well as continuing to see, I think our pipeline will be even stronger for deals that are going on locally. We're already being able to branch out into new markets and see some deals that are going on regionally. And the technology platform is growing. It already has had some great changes in the last few months. And that has been our desire as people are building a local portfolio. Many of our users are not coming on just to invest in one thing, but to start to actually build a local portfolio. We know that with that comes new needs for how they're able to manage that portfolio as they get involved in more deals. So expanding the tool to handle those, to provide better transparency and reporting, as well as those opportunities, are all coming pretty fast and furious right now. And we expect that to continue over the next 9 to 12 months.
Okay, got it. Great. And I guess the same question for Matt, but in reverse. What is the benefits now for a Venture South member or potential member from this partnership?
Yeah, I'd say it's three primary new benefits for Venture South members. One is to get access to that breadth of complementary portfolio to the typical venture style use. Again, we'll continue to focus on early stage startups as our bread and butter, but by being part of the Vicinity platform, our investors very easily access these other types of deals that Josh has described that potentially give them the opportunity to diversify their portfolio into other asset classes, some of which can generate near-term cash flow than a typical venture portfolio, where obviously you're illiquid for several years until there's a happy exit at some point down the road. But in the meantime, these other real estate or micro private equity deals could generate cash flows for investors to complement that venture portfolio. So that's number one. I think number two is, again, as Josh alluded to, the value of being able to really engage with some companies and opportunities across our local market footprint that aren't really a fit for us today. If a company comes to us, but it's not really a strong tech startup, it doesn't really fit the Venture South model today. But in the Vicinity portfolio, again, we can really grow our roots deeper in markets where there are compelling opportunities for those types of more Main Street businesses that don't really fit the venture model. It could be great businesses that create jobs and create venues and places that people will be in markets. And we really believe in that. And it's been a part of what has made the Venture South model successful over time, and just building these local investor networks. And so by giving those investors access to more deals they can get their hands dirty with in their own backyard, we think that's a healthy way to engage. And I think importantly, as we're all faced with what the brave new world will look like with AI embedded in everything we do, and not necessarily knowing if you're talking to a machine or a human, we think the value of those kinds of local, engaged, in-person, face-to-face opportunities to meet with people and engage with companies is going to be increasingly important. So then last, but certainly not least, and really the thing that got us really exploring this path in the first place was a challenge that we have faced over the years at Venture South, just in terms of our own technology stack, operating our own business, both for us as the operators and for our investors as they're building their portfolio. The tools that have been available to us over time have not been the task at hand, which is the complication of managing a complicated, deep portfolio of private investments where you've got various subsets of investors engaged in various investments with an intervening entity of some sort, like a fund, or in our case, a series LLC to all those different investments. And so managing all that complexity is very challenging at one level. And the tools that we use have been pieced together to really should be all done one seamless platform, which is building together in the Vicinity based on the model, the platform they had already built to serve their own model and their own customers. So by adding features and functionality to that, we think that we build a very robust, integrated private platform that can serve the needs of both venture as well as the other verticals that we talk about in real estate and micro private equity. Any place where multiple investors are involved in multiple deals, that could be a really valuable tool to have with robust reporting. And from the point of view, individual investor, being able to easily access in a consolidated way and track not only the incoming, but the outgoing cash flows and results of those investments is not only critically important, but something that's been hard to do. And so by solving that problem for investors, we're also solving it for folks that sit in the middle of those transactions like ourselves. And then ultimately our vision is that this platform becomes a powerful tool for individuals to track any private investment that they make, whether or not they executed that investment on the Vicinity Ventures platform. So again, there are untold spreadsheets out there that folks are trying to keep track of to manage various investments they have made over time. And so if we give them a tool to consolidate all that into one place with powerful reporting, we think that's real value add to the investing world that we're excited to build and implement.
Okay, got it. Josh, back to you for a second. If I'm not yet a Vicinity user or a Venture South member, why should I sign up, and what's the cost and benefit of doing that?
Yeah. It's pretty easy to get started. VicinityCapital.com, and just create an account. It takes about 30 seconds. The reason you would do that and risk getting more emails in your inbox is to see the deals that are coming up and the information that we're able to send out on education events. But largely, you're able to, pretty low impact, start to see what we're talking about in a very tangible way, and then choose to opt into some of those things when and if you want to. So I never like calling it free, because there's always time involved, and made the joke about the emails, but we all feel that pain. And so we're very careful about making sure that those are valuable. And if you're interested at all in local and alternative investing, this is the best place to get it. And when you receive something, it's going to add that value to show you what those opportunities are. So that's the easy entry point. From there, you'll be able to explore what investing looks like. And if you wanted to participate in a public deal, it only takes a few more minutes to complete your investor account and participate in a deal actively on the platform. There's opportunities as well to figure out more about the premium subscription side and join in a network of accredited investors for looking at the private tech deals, as well as getting a look and special terms on deals that would be the public ones as well. So there's a whole range, but getting started is very easy.
Okay, got it. So the time cost is not zero, but it's not a lot. And then the dollar cost is zero to actually get started, right? You can make, as an accredited or unaccredited investor, you can invest in a public offering for free.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, got it. And then Matt, how do you articulate the reasons why somebody should upgrade to the premium membership of becoming a Venture South member inside the platform?
Yeah. So we think that part of the value being the platform, again, is the ability to access a broad portfolio of opportunities. But if you're not a Venture South member on the platform, you don't have access to all of the exciting startup deals that we curate and diligence and support throughout our firm. And so the people that really are interested in investing in early stage, high growth potential, new technology driven businesses, the way you get access to that is through the membership in Venture South. And so by becoming a member, you get not only the access to invest in those deals, but you get the opportunity to interact with other investors who are interested in and have experience and can help with the evaluation of those opportunities, as well as contributing to the success of those companies by sharing their expertise and connections and insights to help those companies only grow and get to good outcomes that create value for obviously the investors and for the founders. And again, back to something that I think is important to say, creating significant impacts in these local markets by driving our economy and job growth and wealth creation in places where we want to be and where our investors live.
Okay, got it.
Well, can I jump in as the new guy on some of that too, with some recent experiences myself? I think the over the last, I guess it's really been just about a month, but being able to go to the summit event and start to tour around some of the other events that are going on more within the cities that Venture South has established a foothold in, the energy and the not only the excitement, but the experience and skills that are in the room with this network is pretty incredible. I mean, this is a unique environment that I think has a gravitational pull. And I think seeing many who have been a part of these networks for years, those that are new or those that are considering joining that I've been able to talk to over the last few weeks, it's exciting. And it really shows the power of not only what we're doing on the technology side, it's an enabler. It enables these types of activities. It doesn't by itself create really the magic of what's going on here, but it really helps to support the groups that are getting together, the types of deals that we're able to see, and then just being able to execute on those. But to see all that in person, in real life, in cool cities, that's very valuable, and it's pretty exciting. And so I think what has been built there, and to Matt's point, that what the opportunities are for supporting these things that are interesting, really at its root supports those that are joining with the network of like-minded people that they're able to gather around, support well, add their experience set to, and learn a lot from. I mean, it's engaging.
We definitely enjoyed those meetings ourselves, so would definitely second your new opinion about coming to those. Those are good times. But maybe sort of building on that, Matt, how is the Vicinity Ventures platform different than just being a member of a standard traditional angel group?
So again, I think it will come back to the combination of the breadth of the deal flow opportunities and the tools with which to manage that diversified portfolio. So I may not have articulated this clearly earlier, but on the Venture South side, again, it's an exclusive opportunity to access what we deem to be the most exciting startups across the region. So our process allows us to identify and surface the most compelling startups in the region. So anybody who's a Venture South member gets access to that exclusive pipeline of highly curated, highly diligent opportunities with no obligation to invest. It's important to say no one's ever obligated to invest, but if you find one of those opportunities compelling, you can participate for as little as $5,000 in one of those deals. But that's all done under the 506B rules of the securities regulations. So that's a very exclusive access for accredited investors only. But again, for folks that are participating with us, what you don't normally have in an angel group is the side-by-side easy access to this adjacent portfolio of opportunities that might not fit, again, our typical screening process for a scalable high-tech startup, but might be a great potentially cash flowing music venue that not only can you enjoy as an investor as it generates cash flow returns, but you can also enjoy as a patron by participating in the raise, getting the benefit of more favorable terms as a Venture South investor by being part of this network. You get access to deals at a better price than you would, or better terms than you would if you not agree. And then you can enjoy the fruit of seeing that venue being built in your own backyard and going to be a VIP member at that venue, for instance, to enjoy music and making memories with your friends and family. So that breadth of opportunity to access the strongest tech deals as well as the strongest local deals in your markets, while also having a robust set of tools to manage all the complexity that comes with that, not least of which is, for instance, getting your tax documents in a convenient way and accessing those anytime they become available to download on the platform, and keeping all that straight, generating comprehensive reports, and ultimately really powerful analytical tools around the results of those investments. Those are things that you would not get in a standard angel investment.
Okay, got it. We've talked a little bit about the vetting process for Vicinity in the last show and for Venture South over several shows. But maybe could you just recap for people what the process is for companies getting into both pieces of the platform?
I'll tackle the Venture South side, and Josh, I'll let you take the Vicinity side. So at Venture South, again, we have a network of 500 plus investors across the region. Obviously, we have a portfolio and a track record, been around for 15 plus years, well connected in the region to lots of different sources of deal flow. And so on an ongoing basis, those deals are coming in the front door, and then our staff works hard to pre-screen those opportunities. So that involves some initial homework on our part to determine which of those companies might be a good fit for our investors and for the portfolio that we're building. We will typically triage that portfolio on a monthly basis and select companies to present to all of our membership, virtually, of course, but in what we call a screening meeting. Those companies get to make their pitch to any investors who are interested in tuning in. Based on the feedback from those pitches from our members, and again, combined with the input and analysis of our staff, we decide which, if any of those companies, should move into a formal due diligence process. Usually it's one or two of those 4 companies that pitch each month. That diligence process is quarterbacked by our staff. It involves participation from our investors. So we invite folks to join the diligence teams, particularly if they have expertise or particular interest in a given area, to help us evaluate those companies, benefiting not just from the insights of our staff, but from the the experience and the insights of our entire investor network, particularly the folks that serve on the diligence team. At the end of that process, we issue a diligence report. We send that out to our members. We talk about it in our meetings and give people the opportunity to opt in or out of that investment. So again, no obligation to invest, but if it's something that folks find compelling based on the result of the diligence report, then they can choose to participate or aggregate the capital from those investors and, of course, invest in it. So at a high level, that's how the vetting process works. The venture side, venture south side, and I'll pick it over to you, Josh, on the Vicinity side.
Yeah, I think any public deal is going through a few components to figure out, do they have what's needed and what it'll take to be interesting to investors and to raise the capital. So we work through some similar things that what Matt described. So I think there's still the normal evaluation on, does it make sense? Does it have the pieces needed to get some ahas? Maybe something a little bit different. If you're talking about an existing operating business or real estate project, the experience either of the existing organization or of a developer who's done this before, you're looking at a track record there very related to either the business they're running and looking to grow or the skill sets that they've brought to bear and looking to expand that. So there's a lot that is just on what does that look like? What if the history of the business, the history of a development or developer help to feed this next iteration? There's always in-person interaction. So we're getting to know the founders and the business builders pretty well through the early process of getting everything ready to go to market. And then there's the market being able to evaluate it itself. So testing the waters is a great tool for an issuer to have a page on the platform and to start to circulate I'll call it a marketing tool, but as a way to get in front of those that could be their anchor, their lead investor, their early network, to evaluate, how does this look? What are the questions? Is this clear? Do the terms make sense? And start to flesh that out with real people that build their early momentum. That is a very important stage that if a company does well in, it's usually a good indicator that they've locked in a lot of the components that are needed to have a successful raise and to actually go public and start accepting checks. The regulatory process for a public deal, especially because non-accredited investors are also able to participate, does drive a pretty good bit of transparency as well that I think is very helpful to investors. So not only are investors or potential investors able to talk about this publicly, even on the platform and exchange notes and questions and all of that can help refine thinking, but there's reviewed or audited financials of the entity. So you have that third-party check. There's background checks to help evaluate just those that are involved in making the decisions of the company. So the process is pretty rigorous, as is any capital raise process, but I think it gives a lot of tools to investors and a lot of openness for them to participate.
Okay, got it. Well, I think you guys have done a good job covering the key value here of well-vetted deals in a wide variety of deal types in a technology platform that is user-friendly and enjoyable to use, plus all of the local benefits to the ecosystem and your local investment portfolio. Maybe just want to step one level beyond that. What's the sort of future bigger vision for where the Vicinity Ventures partnership goes for whoever wants to take that one?
We're both excited about that, but Matt, been first or?
Yeah, happy to jump in first. But as we described, this solution that we are building together to solve some of the friction that we've had on our side at Venture South, just managing our portfolio, but also embracing this opportunity to bring the capital to bear on different types of local deals. We really think that we can capture some pretty compelling, powerful tailwinds in the private capital markets. It doesn't take long in looking at what's published in the financial news to look at the shift in dollars from public to private opportunities and the access that retail investors want to those types of alternative investments. And so not only do you have that trend driving lots of interest in capital flows into the private marketplace, but you've got generational wealth transfer and a lot of younger folks looking to deploy capital in ways that maybe are a little bit more diversified than a traditional 60-40, stock to bonds portfolio. And so we think we're well positioned to really capture some of that flow and that energy and that interest by making this highly scalable. So that's part of why we're building this technology platform the way we are, so that it's not just applicable for our deals in the Southeast, but for anybody anywhere that's engaged in private markets and to attract their portfolio, and then ultimately potentially have the opportunity to either bring Vicinity type deals to the platform and publicly fundraise for those and or give other private investor groups the opportunity to share their own deals on the platform. And we'll be rolling out some of that in future states of the platform. But really, it becomes a robust, scalable tool to access and manage any type of private capital market portfolio. And so we're really excited about the opportunity for helping facilitate those types of transactions and solve some of those frictions more broadly than just our own use case.
I would add boldly, I think this is the future of alternative investing. This is really geography matters. And I don't say this with hubris, at least I don't believe I do. I say this really as somebody who is an excited participant in what's going on with a lot of these economic trends. And that's why we're committing the time and energy and thought to this, is to listen and see what's actually going on with companies and investors and where money is flowing, and be able to just try to harness some of that and be a player in where this is all going. So to me, I think this is, we're off to a really good start in what we've collectively been working on in our own little silos, for us for a handful of years, for you guys for a little bit more, and now be able to take that and channel it. And one, to say there's a need to adapt, and then be able to start to facilitate that. So to me, this builds a critical mass that allows for participating in very exciting ways in the deals, but also just the growth of where this market goes. As you look at when people want liquidity to get in and out of deals in the future, and you're talking about secondary, or Matt mentioned some of the technology trends, just being on top of those to allow those to be useful tools. I think this is just where it's all headed. And so I love that we get to be a part of that. And there'll be other participants and players that are solving different problems in the space, and it'll be exciting.
Great. Thank you, Josh. Thanks, Matt. Josh, maybe for other people who share your excitement about wanting to participate, where can they go to get started on their journey into this asset class?
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to visit vicinityventures.vc, and you can easily get directed to which path you want to pick and what you want to explore. Vicinitycapital.com is also an easy way to just go look at a few deals, see what's actually up there before you make any commitments. And then when you're so compelled, you can create your account, and then we'll send you the things that we believe you'll want to see in the near future.
Okay, great. I usually wish my guests the best of luck on their entrepreneurial journey, but I really mean it today because I'm part of that too. So good luck on building Vicinity Ventures, and we will be back again with another show next time.
Thanks, Paul and Matt.
Thank you for listening. Visit us at ventureinthesouth.com for a complete list of previous and future shows.